This is the territorial situation in this area of Europe at the beginning of the 13th century. The Aragon crown was the result of the union of the Kingdom of Aragon with the Catalan counties in 1164. When Peter II of Aragon died in the Battle of Muret, his only legitimate son, James I of Aragon, was left as heir to the kingdom. The defeat in the Battle of Muret in 1213 made it impossible for the crown of Aragon to expand northward. So it was decided to expand by recovering Muslim territory. The doubt was between invading Valencia or invading the Balearic Islands. Finally, it was decided to invade the Balearic Islands. This put the Aragonese knights against, since their desire was to invade Valencia, which caused Aragon not to participate in the conquest of Majorca. In December 1228, James I, together with the Catalan nobility and clergy, began preparations for the conquest of Majorca and agreed on the distribution of the booty according to the contribution of each party. On September 5, 1229, more than 150 ships with about 16,000 soldiers, including about 1,000 knights, departed from Tarragona for the coast of Majorca. Their destination was the Bay of Palencia in the north of the island, but due to a storm, the landing finally took place in Santa Ponsa. But before reaching Santa Ponsa, a stopover was made in San Telmo, where King James I landed on the islet of Panteleu. They could not disembark on the coast because Muslim soldiers were already there waiting for them. The Christian troops await the arrival of night. Taking advantage of the darkness, the ships leave this area of Majorca and head towards Santa Ponsa, where they will finally disembark. But this is another story. In the writings of the medieval Catalan chronicler Bernat Desclot, there is a famous passage where Ali, a native Majorcan, talks to James I when he is on the island of Panteleu in San Telmo. One of the Muslims jumped into the sea and swam to the islet where the king was, and when he came out of the sea, he came before the king and knelt down before him and saluted him in his Latin. The king made him give him garments, and then asked him about the deeds of the land and of the Saracen king. The Saracen said to him,
"Lord, know for certain that this land is yours and at your command, that my mother asks me to come and tell you, for she is a wise woman and has known in her art of astronomy that this land is yours to conquer."
Some historians describe this passage as an embellishment used by Desclot to imply that James I was destined to conquer Majorca. Although the art of astronomy does seem to be an embellishment by Bernat Desclot, if we investigate further, if we study everything that surrounds the character, we will discover something very interesting. Most historians have focused on James I's paternal heritage, but if we delve into his maternal heritage, we will discover that Mary of Montpellier, James' mother, was the daughter of Eudoxia Comnena. At that time it was mistakenly thought that Eudoxia was the daughter of Manuel I Comnenus, Emperor of Byzantium, when in fact she was his niece. However, for Ali's mother, Mary was the heir to the Byzantine Empire, and her son James was her legitimate successor. You may ask, what does the Byzantine Empire have to do with this story? When the Roman Empire fell in the 5th century, the Iberian Peninsula became a Visigothic kingdom, while the Balearic Islands first went through a period of domination by the Vandals, and from the 6th century was part of the Byzantine Empire until the arrival of the Muslims in the 10th century. So for Ali's mother, the legitimate king of Majorca had returned. The arrival of James I to Majorca meant the return of the king. Taking into account the very doubtful paternity of Peter II, we could say that the legitimate king of the Balearic Islands rules over Aragon and Catalonia, and a few years later he will rule over Valencia.